Severance Season 2's Episode 8 delves deep into Harmony Cobel's Lumen history and even mentions the Wintertide Fellowship, which subtly gives away a dark truth about Miss Huang. Since the beginning of the Apple TV Plus sci-fi show Season 2, Miss Huang has been one of the most mysterious characters. She seems too young to work in Lumen and shows immense loyalty to the company. Her robotic demeanor and blind faith in Lumen had convinced many viewers that, like Miss Casey, she was another permanent innie who did not exist as an outie in the outside world. Miss Huang's behavior became even stranger when she advised Milchick not to treat the innies as humans by allowing them to give Irving a funeral. Her lack of empathy towards other innies suggested she was nothing like them and probably not even severed. After dropping so many subtle clues about who she was and what she was doing in Lumen, Severance Season 2's Episode 8 has finally confirmed a tragic detail about her past by revealing many aspects of Harmony Cobel's past. Harmony Cobel confirms she was in the Wintertide program as a child. Her backstory confirms she has almost spent her entire life with Lumen. After Cobel arrives in her childhood village, Salt's Neck, in Severance Season 2's Episode 8, her conversations with Hampton reveal she started working in the local Lumen ether factory at a very young age. While at it, she attended the Myrtle Egan School for Girls, where she was indoctrinated in Kia Egan's ideals and teachings. She showed immense potential during her early years with Lumen, which paved the way for her to become a Wintertide Fellow, marking the inception of a new journey for her at Lumen Industries. Cobel's backstory in Severance confirms that Lumen's development in Salt's Neck created many employment opportunities for the local townsfolk in Salt's Neck. However, the company seemingly broke many ethical and moral boundaries to expand its business. Miners like Cobel and Hampton were forced to work in ether manufacturing factories that seemingly exposed them to the addictive inhalation anesthetic, diethyl ether. Although Cobel's fellowship eventually helped her leave the village and work for Lumen's Branch 501 facility, most other townsfolk, like Hampton, remained hooked on diethyl ether. Severance Season 2 confirms Lumen's use of child labor. Hampton and Cobel were forced to work in Lumen's factories from a young age. Sarah Bock as Miss Huang in Severance custom image by Dhruv Sharma. When Devon suggests they must call Harmony Cobel to help Mark rescue Gemma from Lumen, Regaby reveals Cobel was raised by Lumen. This hints at how Cobel has had a long history with the company, explaining why she shows unwavering loyalty to Lumen in Season 1 and even worships Kia Egan. Things take an even darker turn in Severance Season 2's Episode 8 when Hampton offers Cobel to get high with him on diethyl ether, and Cobel remarks that she has not inhaled the substance since she was 9 years old. This subtle detail reveals that she worked in Lumen's ether factories when she was as young as 9 years old. After establishing its factories in Salt's Neck, Lumen cared little about age or ethical regulations, using child labor to meet their ethyl production needs. Miners like Harmony and Hampton were exposed to dangerous compounds like diethyl ether as they toiled away in the factories, manipulated into believing their work was necessary for their village's growth. Cobel found her escape after becoming a Wintertide Fellow, but that further entrenched her in Lumen's control. What Harmony Cobel's past means for Miss Huang. Miss Huang is another victim of Lumen's immoral practices. In Severance Season 2's Episode 6, Milchick implies that he gets to call the shots on whether Miss Huang is Wintertide material. This confirms that, like Harmony Cobel, she, too, has been hired by Lumen with the promise of a prosperous future. Like Cobel, Huang was likely picked from Myrtle Egan School for Girls and taught Kia Egan's teachings from an early age. After being forced into child labor, she was also led to believe that the innies are mere test subjects for Lumen and their lives were less valuable than the outies. Although Huang's cold demeanor towards the innies did not make her too likable, the Wintertide parallels between her and Cobel make it hard not to empathize with her. She seems to be another victim of Lumen's unethical practices of indoctrination and exploitation, which involves molding young minds to serve the company. As Cobel's backstory in the Severance Season 2 episode confirms, Huang, too, was manipulated into believing that Wintertide was a mark of distinction and a high form of achievement when it was nothing but another means for Lumen to establish control over prospective employees.